Larry never was going to take a break. Larry was going to go get an offensive rebound. He's going to go set a back pick. He was going to do something to impact that possession.
I don't know if they had scouting reports like they did back then, because we had scouting reports.
Yeah.
Did y'all have scouting reports as well?
Perfect, and not only was it perfect, my mother-in-law nicknamed his jump shot Silent Death.
Because he was the best trash talker ever.
Larry Bird was much more than a basketball superstar. He became the defining force of an unforgettable era and built a legacy that still sparks debates about whether he is the greatest player to ever play the game. His greatness was never measured by points, rebounds, or assists alone because his impact reached far beyond the stat sheet. Every time he stepped onto the court, he displayed incredible skill, unmatched basketball intelligence, and a fierce determination to win that set him apart from everyone else. His preparation began long before the opening tip, as he carefully studied every opponent's habits, favorite moves, and weaknesses, allowing him to predict plays before they even happened. That remarkable basketball IQ was matched by an incredible work ethic, with countless hours spent perfecting his shooting, passing, footwork, and decision-making until every movement became second nature. What looked effortless during games was actually the result of relentless dedication behind the scenes. Defenders often believed they had a plan to stop him, but they quickly discovered Bird was already several steps ahead, using his vision and instincts to control the game. Above all, what truly separated Larry Bird from the rest was his calmness under pressure. When the spotlight was brightest and every possession mattered, he stayed composed, delivered when his team needed him most, and repeatedly proved why his name remains firmly in the conversation among basketball's greatest legends. Larry Bird made the biggest moments look easy. Clutch shots, last-second passes, and high-pressure plays never rattled him. He controlled the pace of the game, slowing it down or speeding it up whenever it gave his team the advantage. If an opponent had a weakness or made a mistake, Bird spotted it instantly and made them pay. He could score, rebound, and create opportunities for his teammates, all while making it seem effortless. That complete control is why so many NBA legends believe his basketball instincts were truly special. Cedric Maxwell once said Bird's presence alone earned respect before he even touched the ball. Maxwell also recalled a moment when Pete Maravich suggested Bird should pass after being double-teamed, but Bird confidently replied that if Maravich were that good, he would be the one getting double-teamed. That confidence wasn't an act, it was simply who Bird was. Even without scoring, his vision, timing, and leadership kept defenders guessing and teammates confident. Bird never asked for respect. He earned it every time he stepped on the court.
Pete passes the ball to Larry. Pete's man runs down and double teams Larry. Larry puts some fucked up shot. It goes astray.
He's got to get one. Set up to isolate a forward.
And we come back to the bench, and Pete goes, Larry, you're being double teamed, man. You got to pass the ball. And Larry looked up and said, if you were any fucking good, there would be double teaming me.
Playing alongside Larry Bird wasn't easy because he expected everyone to match his intensity every single night. If you couldn't keep up with his competitive spirit, you quickly fell behind. Michael Cooper, one of the NBA's best defenders, admitted that guarding Bird was unlike facing anyone else. Bird once told Cooper he was the toughest player he had ever played against, and the respect between them was mutual. Even so, defending Bird was mentally and physically exhausting. He was always moving, appearing in places defenders didn't expect. One moment he was waiting on the wing, the next he was cutting to the basket or pulling up for a shot. Cooper said Bird seemed to be everywhere at once, leaving defenders no time to relax. One small mistake was all Bird needed to take complete advantage.
People ask me all the time, who's the hardest player? And I always say him, because I played against Michael Jordan, George Gervin, Andrew Toney. And those guys, when they pass the ball, they have a tendency to take a break for a second. Larry never was going to take a break. Larry's going to go get an offensive rebound. He's going to go set a back pick. He's going to do something to impact that possession. So that's why he was the hardest.
He's about, 6'8", 6'9"?
6'9".
Larry Bird's greatness was never built on flashy plays or unnecessary hype. It came from constant pressure, incredible court awareness, and a basketball mind that always stayed one step ahead. He forced defenses to adjust until they eventually broke down, making every possession a challenge. By the end of the game, opponents were often exhausted and outplayed. That's why Bird's legacy remains so powerful today. He didn't just play the game, he controlled it from start to finish. NBA star Bernard King, one of the league's greatest scorers, once admitted that Larry Bird was the toughest opponent he ever faced. Even with his scoring ability, King said playing against Bird felt like a chess match where Bird always seemed to know the next move before it happened. Bernard King said Larry Bird seemed to control every part of the game. He wasn't just defending his matchup, he was directing everything happening on the court. Bird could read an opponent's first move, anticipate the next one, and take advantage of even the smallest hesitation. Guarding him required far more than effort. It demanded total focus, quick reactions, and non-stop energy. His combination of basketball IQ and elite skill made him incredibly difficult to beat. Whenever opponents tried to exploit an opening or create a mismatch, Bird was already in position. One brief moment of uncertainty was all he needed to turn the play in his team's favor.
Well, Bird, I couldn't defend Bird at all. Obviously we're matched up, you're guarding me, and then I got to find Birds on the floor to switch over and defend him. And Bird was the toughest player I've ever had to face. The guy is 6'10", I'm 6'7". He can pass over the top of me, put the ball on the floor. He's a great rebounder and obviously a great scorer. And so Bird, for me, was the toughest matchup I ever had during the course of my career.
Every possession felt different when Larry Bird was on the court. Bernard King said Bird influenced everything, from how defenders moved to how plays developed and even how teammates responded. His impact wasn't built on flashy highlights but on complete control of the game. King quickly realized that talent alone wasn't enough to beat him. You had to think faster than he did, and that was the hardest part. Bird's greatest advantage was his basketball mind. With a simple fake, a sharp look, or perfectly timed cut, he kept opponents guessing from start to finish. He didn't just play the game, he controlled it, which is why so many players from his era still speak about him with such deep respect. Charles Barkley built his reputation with strength, athleticism, and fearless attacks at the basket. Yet even he admitted that Larry Bird had a unique way of getting inside an opponent's head. Bird's calm confidence forced everyone else to adjust to his game. One of his most famous moments came before the NBA three-point contest, when he looked around the locker room and asked, "Who's coming in second?" It wasn't just trash talk, it was complete confidence in his ability. That quote stayed with Barkley because facing Bird meant more than simply competing. It meant proving you belonged on the same level, and most players couldn't. Bird's presence changed the entire atmosphere of a game, and during that three-point contest, he didn't just make shots, he completely owned the moment.
Because he was the best trash talker ever. So Leon Wood was one of my teammates, and we're sitting in the locker room getting ready for the three-point shooting contest. And I was kind of just talking to Leon, trying to calm him down, and we had all these three-point shooters in there. Bird comes in and says, "Which one of you is gonna come in second place?" So, which one of you gonna come in second place?
So first words through the door.
Which one of you gonna come in second place?
Then there was John Stockton, one of the most intelligent and skilled point guards basketball has ever produced. Known for his incredible passing, court vision, and ability to control the flow of a game, even Stockton recognized the unique presence Larry Bird brought to the court. Stockton once recalled a moment when Bird came over during a game and calmly predicted exactly how many points he was going to score. It wasn't a joke or a display of arrogance, it was a quiet statement of confidence from a player who trusted his preparation and ability. Bird didn't need to make noise to prove himself. His actions always delivered the message.
He walked by our bench at the Salt Palace and said, "I feel like 43 tonight." And he came out, he scored 43 in the third quarter and checked himself out with a 20-point victory, and I was fairly impressed with that one.
So he just picks a random number, I feel like 43. And he says it to the bench?
Yeah. It was fairly impressive, especially when he backed it up.
That was the quality that made Larry Bird truly different. He studied every detail, from statistics and matchups to timing and tendencies, making sure he understood everything happening on the court. When Bird focused on a goal, he usually found a way to achieve it. That level of control and preparation was something very few players ever reached. John Stockton felt Bird's mental advantage immediately. It wasn't based on loud words or wild celebrations. It came from confidence, awareness, and complete control. Bird spoke with belief, played with authority, and guided the game as if he was always one step ahead. Defenders weren't setting the pace, they were responding to him. Moments like these revealed what separated Bird from the rest. He didn't simply participate in the game, he controlled its rhythm, tempo, and the mentality of everyone around him. It was never about showing off. It was about proving his mastery. Those moments were never just about confidence. They were about establishing control from the very beginning. Larry Bird set the tone early and made opponents understand they were facing someone different. His greatness went far beyond natural talent or skill. Bill Walton, one of the greatest centers in basketball history, witnessed that dedication firsthand and admired the incredible effort Bird brought to the game. Bird gave everything he had, holding nothing back. Whether it was practice sessions, studying game film, regular season battles, or intense playoff moments, his commitment never changed. His focus remained locked in, and his competitive energy never faded.
Nobody worked as hard as Larry. He was the first guy there. He was the last guy to leave. He wore that body out with the jumpers and the running and the movement and the concentration and the focus and the discipline and the sacrifice. He had it all. He wanted the light on him. He wanted the focus, and he wanted that ball.
Larry Bird never depended on talent alone. He constantly improved it. He worked relentlessly until his strengths became powerful weapons and his weaknesses became almost impossible to find. That dedication was what made him such a difficult player to stop. Bill Walton saw firsthand how Bird's preparation appeared when the pressure was highest. His competitive nature pushed teammates to work harder and forced opponents to bring their best every night. Bird's impact wasn't only about physical ability, it was the perfect combination of skill, toughness, intelligence, and effort. He earned respect through consistency, not by making noise. Game after game, he proved his value on the court. Dominique Wilkins, known for his explosive scoring and incredible athleticism, also recognized that Bird controlled the game in a completely different way. Wilkins considered Bird one of the greatest players ever, especially because of how unstoppable he was in half-court situations. Speed and athletic ability weren't enough against him because Bird could read the game before it happened. Every movement had a reason, every pass had perfect timing, and every cut showed his unmatched understanding of basketball.
And having one of the greatest players to ever lace a pair of shoes up in Larry Bird, in a half-court situation, he was evil. I mean, you couldn't beat him in a half court.
Dominique Wilkins experienced that challenge every time Larry Bird had the ball in his hands. It wasn't simply about defending him, it was about trying to predict him. Bird slowed the game down, turned every possession into a strategic battle, and made each play feel like a carefully planned chess move. He never played in a hurry, he studied the situation and made the right decision. That incredible control in the half court was one of the biggest things that separated him from other great players. Isaiah Thomas, known for his speed, creativity, and fearless style, also recognized another major part of Bird's greatness, his shooting ability. Thomas described Bird's jumper as one of the most dangerous shots in basketball history. Whether it came off the dribble, from a catch-and-shoot situation, or with a defender right in his face, Bird always had the confidence to take the shot. Defenders couldn't give him space, but getting too close was risky too because Bird could make them pay instantly.
I mean, his shot was just so perfect, and not only was it perfect, my mother-in-law nicknamed his jump shot Silent Death because when he shot it, the ball just rolled in the air and it was almost like it was playing a song, the way it was just moving in the air and then it would just swish through. I mean, his shot was just so, and he was just, as a competitor, he was a killer. Just a straight killer.
Larry Bird's accuracy and timing made every defensive decision difficult. Isaiah Thomas understood that pressure every time Bird prepared to shoot. If a defender reacted to his pump fake, Bird could create space and attack. If they stepped back, he could knock down the shot. If they stayed still, he would find the perfect moment to release. That constant danger forced defenses into hesitation and confusion. Bird's shooting ability was never just about putting points on the scoreboard, it was a mental challenge for every opponent. His jumper changed the way teams defended because they were always worried about making the wrong move. That combination of skill and psychological control transformed Bird from a great shooter into one of the toughest matchups in basketball history. From long-range shots to difficult attempts under pressure, every shot he took carried confidence and purpose. That's why his name remains connected with the most dangerous players ever to play the game. Phil Jackson, known for his deep understanding of basketball strategy, also recognized Bird as one of the ultimate all-around talents. Bird combined elite skills, incredible basketball intelligence, and unmatched competitiveness. He could score from anywhere, Deliver perfect passes, battle for rebounds, defend at a high level, and still control the pace and flow of the entire game.
Larry Bird, Magic Johnson.
Wow. Well, Magic's got a post-up game. Larry had a good post-up game too. But Larry was an outside step-back shooter. He had a great shot, and I think I'd probably go with Larry. He's probably the better one.
Is that what you wanted to hear?
What did I say?
Larry Bird's understanding of spacing and timing was on another level. He always seemed to know where every player needed to be before the action even happened. That awareness made everyone around him better. Teammates made smarter cuts, found better shots, and played with more confidence because they trusted Bird's vision. Phil Jackson believed Bird's greatness couldn't be measured only through statistics. His true impact came from the way he controlled the game and shaped it around his own understanding. Whether it was a slow, physical half-court battle, a fast-paced contest, or a pressure-filled fourth quarter, Bird found a way to dominate. Opponents had to stay alert for every fake, every pass, and every move because one mistake was all he needed to take control. That complete ability to influence every part of the game is what secured Larry Bird's place among basketball's all-time legends. Larry Bird was never just a scorer or playmaker. He impacted every possession, every matchup, and every moment of the game. His combination of basketball intelligence, toughness, and incredible skill made him one of the most challenging opponents the sport has ever seen. He didn't simply participate in the game, he controlled the way it was played. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, one of basketball's most dominant legends, recognized that greatness and respected Bird's ability. In fact, Kareem welcomed the challenge of facing him because those battles pushed him to perform at his highest level. He described Bird as the ultimate competitor, someone who brought unmatched focus and intensity every time he stepped onto the court. Playing against Bird was never easy. It was a complete mental and physical challenge. He forced opponents to think quicker, react faster, and stay fully engaged from the opening tip to the final whistle. Kareem admired the way Bird combined intelligence with determination, reading the court like a master strategist and making quick decisions that constantly put defenders under pressure.
I remember the game he played against the Lakers the first year that the Celtics won the World Championship with him on the team. And he was ridiculous. He came out here. I remember our sportscaster played the Superman theme when he was talking about him that night after the game because he did everything, points, rebounds, assists, just steals, you name it. Larry has such a great mind for the game and, a great touch. I had a lot of respect for him as a competitor.
Larry Bird's ability to control the pace of a game made him one of the most difficult opponents Kareem Abdul-Jabbar ever faced. But what truly separated Bird was how he elevated the importance of every matchup. His leadership and competitive spirit transformed ordinary games into unforgettable battles. It was never only about statistics, it was about the influence he had on every moment. When Bird stepped onto the court, the entire atmosphere changed. Competing against him was a challenge, but it was also an experience that players never forgot. That is why Bird's argument as one of the greatest players of all time goes far beyond numbers. He could score from anywhere, deliver passes with incredible accuracy, and understand defenses like a chess master. But his greatest weapon was his mindset. He treated every possession as important, paid attention to every detail, and forced opponents to feel pressure both physically and mentally. Bird earned respect through preparation, intelligence, and execution. You couldn't simply beat him with athleticism or speed because he was already reading the game ahead of time. He adjusted, reacted, and punished even the smallest mistake, especially in the half-court battle. Larry Bird had a way of breaking opponents down mentally and physically. In transition, he always seemed to make the perfect decision, and he made his teammates better without needing to chase attention. The stories shared by basketball legends don't just describe an incredible player, they reveal a competitor who pushed everyone around him to reach a higher level. Bird's influence changed the way games were played and created a lasting impact on basketball history. His combination of skill, vision, and relentless determination is exactly why his name remains in the conversation among the greatest players of all time. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who loves basketball history. Let us know in the comments, do you believe Larry Bird is the greatest player ever? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.